So I want to welcome everyone here, Conversations with Trish and Chris. And we have an amazing guest speaker here today, Dennis Westfall. And Dennis is from, well, actually, I won't say where you're from, because what I'll do is I'll let you come in and let us know where you're from and just your background, a little bit of a story maybe about your journey and your reason why for starting an online business and, you know, why that's important to you.
Yes. Well, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me, Chris and Trish. We've known each other for a while, and we have actually met in person at one of our live events.
Yep.
And so that was a lot to cover. You might have to remind me of some of those questions.
I will.
But so my name is Dennis, and I am now 36 years old. I'm a single dad of two kids, two toddlers, 2.5 and 4 years old. It's really hectic. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of hecticness and stress, but it's the most challenging and the most beautiful thing probably I've experienced, having those two little persons in my life, and they are a big part of the reason why I've literally started an online business. Probably the biggest reason.
Yeah.
So I am originally German, a little bit of gypsy blood from my dad's side.
That's very cool, Dennis. That's, what does gypsy mean? Like,
That's good.
Kind of?
It's so gypsies are a people that originally came from India. Like, there's a few theories, but originally from India, and they spread all over the world, really. And now you find gypsies everywhere. But
that's interesting.
But they don't really have their own country, and now there's a big concentration of gypsies in Europe, in Romania,
right,
Eastern Europe, and still they are, throughout history, they have been suppressed and not been welcomed, and there's they have a big stigma put on them of being thieves and all these things. And while I haven't grown up in a gypsy culture, it's literally my dad's mom only comes from a gypsy background. So I'm like a quarter gypsy, I guess.
Yeah.
So, but me and my dad are dark, like this, and the rest of the family is like you guys. So
really?
It's my brother has blue eyes and blonde hair.
Wow.
And we have the same parents.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
that's interesting when that happens. You know, so
people are like, "What?"
And another culture coming in. It's brilliant. Yeah.
Awesome. That's your brother? No way! And we're like, and I literally asked my mom if I was adopted when I was a kid, and she's like, "Just take a look at your dad." And I was like, "Okay, then, you know, I accept it." And that's basically it. And my dad, my dad was born in Germany, and my mom as well. And my dad had quite a horrible childhood, alcoholic parents, and he was beaten and all that stuff. So he ran away and worked as a sea merchant. When he was 16 years old, he promised to be back after 1 month, but he ended up working on the boats, big oil tankers and whatnot, for 25 years. And so he settled down in Norway.
Wow.
And that's how I was born in Norway. And that's how I also, we lived in Sweden, and I've lived in Germany for a while. So I actually went to school in all of these countries and speak all those languages. And it's been a really fascinating life, a really turbulent life, and a really challenging life in many aspects. But, I've received so much experience Like, I'm not really scared to go into new challenges or, you know, new situations and people, and I adapt very quickly. Some of my friends call me the chameleon, actually, sometimes. And yeah, and but also, yeah.
Do you think moving around like that, moving from country to country, do you think that builds up a quality within you that is now sort of coming out now with respect to you building this online business?
Definitely. Like, it's definitely given me a big view of the world, or of tolerance. I guess that's the word. It's non-judgment, and just whatever color, background, age, sex, whatever it is you're welcome, kind of thing. And yeah, and that, I mean, it's just being open to challenges, to the online world, and you know how multicultural is the online world. So yeah, it's everything, I think, for me.
Yeah,
So,
I think because I emigrated from England to Australia, and that was a very big move, and that involved me moving from one country to another at a very young age. And I think it builds up a certain resilience, and it makes you more resourceful, because even though you're young and you're depending on your parents, you're still in a new country and a new culture with all new surroundings.
Yeah, that's a huge thing. And that was kind of that's the biggest challenge for any child who's moving, because it's just you kind of getting ripped out of your comfort zone, right? And getting put somewhere else, and like, all of my friends are gone, all of my, you know, everything is gone, and now I have to, although I have my parents, but everything else is different, so I have to adapt. I'm the new kid in class again. And a new language, and I want to make friends as quickly as possible, and I want to be accepted.
Exactly. Like I you know, it's such a different thing for me to understand, because I grew up in the same house since I was 2 years old until I left home and got married. And I went to the same school, and then I went to the secondary school, and then I went to work, and I was in that job for 20 years, you know. So I don't understand how people, like, it's so foreign to me.
Now, and I was longing for that, for a big part of my childhood. I was like, oh, I wish sometimes when I went to some of my friends' houses, I was like, oh, I wish I had this house where everything is like the pictures of the family. They are born here. They will never leave here, and it's stability. That's what I was craving, and certainty.
Wow.
That's what, you know, the Tony Robbins is talking about certainty a lot, and so I had both uncertainty and certainty.
Yes.
Is really big for me. I love both. I need both, and and I guess, yeah, I've been just keeping going in that life of putting myself in situations where I'm facing uncertainty to create certainty and stability.
It's fascinating that you bring that up, because that's very, very true. And I know that a lot of people with this journey of creating an online business, even though I think people that tend to look for something like this as an entrepreneur, they are wanting or fulfilling that need of uncertainty. However, what they're doing is looking for certainty within uncertainty. And I would say, and I'm glad you brought that out, that would be one of the biggest challenges in developing and creating an online business, is that seeking or attempting to seek certainty within uncertainty. And I think you've just really highlighted that. And I think for those people that crave the uncertainty, and they're doing it possibly at a subconscious level, like you, like me, like we've moved around the country, halfway across the world for me. And I think from a very young age, we've had uncertainty. We're used to it.
Yeah, we subconsciously love it. although we are craving the certainty
Yeah,
as well.
it's interesting.
Like I was hugely into extreme sports as well.
Wow.
I was like putting myself in extremely dangerous situations, but I had the certainty and the belief in my skill that I could manage that uncertainty to always come out safely.
Wow.
And
That's fascinating. And that's me too. So I've bungee jumped at a young age. I've, snow skied, like extreme situations. So it's interesting, isn't it? Actually highlighting this conversation when you talk to someone that there's a similar background and you're tying some of what you're doing now to that childhood.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about that earlier, weren't we? Like financial conditioning, like, what is it that we're doing now that possibly was generated when we were a very young child?
Yeah.
What was around us? What conversations were happening? And, does that flow through?
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy to think about all. It's like we are the same person, just a little bit older and tackling the same problems in a different way.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. And now I'm trying to by the uncertainty that I used to experience. I'm trying to get rid of that.
Yeah.
By diving into the uncertainty, literally.
Yes. And you are, because I know a little bit of your history with respect to, financial trading. So you have part of your journey has included trading the financial markets.
Yeah.
And not sure exactly, was it foreign currency? Was it share trading, options?
It was currency.
So
it was the forex market, but mainly binary options.
Okay.
More of in and out of the market, not staying in there and worrying and losing sleep over it. Just to be done with it for the day, and day trading basically.
Day trading, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But also, this is not what I want to do. This is I don't feel it's very inspiring work.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just a taking. I want money. It's just taking instead of actually providing value to somebody.
Yeah, that's a big call. That's such a huge part of probably why we do what we do, Dennis, because it's like, having a job and just going there, doing your stuff and leaving. You don't know what value you're giving there. You're just giving your time sometimes, and with trading, you're sort of just getting in there, doing it and coming out, getting in, doing it and coming out. And there doesn't appear to be a lot of value in doing that, except that you will reap a financial reward at the end. That's probably why you're doing it. But in what we're trying to, or what we are creating for ourselves, gives us much more fulfillment, because we want to shape what we're giving to society or what we're giving to other people. We're trying to provide value to them so that they can see or understand the impact that this could have on their lives. It's such, they're poles apart, aren't they? They're just
you're
poles
really
apart.
hitting the nail on the head, so to speak, right? Like it's it's the fulfillment we are after, a legacy. To I kind of an ego thing as well, but it's the best way to be selfish, right? To help others and to provide value and to see them succeed, and to know that you have been part of their journey, and it's really massive fulfillment.
Yeah. And that's sort of part of being a parent too, isn't it, Dennis? When you think about it, like you have your children and you're trying to, when you're bringing them up and you're loving them and you really want them to succeed, right? You want them to be happy in life. That's probably, for me, it's the most fulfilling part, is to see your children grow up and for them to be happy. Yeah. So that's about providing value to them through their young lives and as they grow as people.
Yeah.
I just, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. But when you're like providing value, that's the same thing. You can do the same thing that you're doing for your children over and over and over and over again. Just, you know, obviously for your children, that's a special, very special thing. Yeah. You can't really, you know, replicate that unique experience, but just the world needs help, and the world needs inspiration and value, and people are looking for it. And, you know, more and more people are willing to accept value and help, and they want to get out of their jobs, and they want to experience fulfillment as well, and to be able to help people and to inspire people, and to actually hear that I did that, to actually hear from someone like thank you, and feeling the gratitude, and like, wow, I've literally inspired somebody from the other side of the world. And it's really cool. It's really, really cool. It's fantastic.
It's interesting as these conversations unfold, because you start, not only do we learn about you, we actually learn more about ourselves. And I've just learned something about myself and my journey just in that conversation with respect to trading, and how you've both highlighted, because I sucked at it. I mean, I just kept going and going and going, and it was like pushing a boulder up a hill, and it never worked, right? I was disciplined as a trader. I documented all of my trades. I had stop losses on all of my trades. I could tell anyone that said, well, what happened with that trade? I could tell them exactly why I went into the market. However, I was never successful. I never made any money from it. If anything, I lost money from it. And you've just highlighted to me the reason why, and that's because of the value. There's no giving. I didn't even comprehend or even understand that till today, till this very conversation now, that I never purely understood that, because it does feel like taking from the markets, You're isolated in your own room here, and you're watching screens and you're day trading, and you're not giving any value really, until the day comes that you actually start to teach others how to trade, or you start to write a book and start providing that sort of value. But in the early days of trading, that's all you're doing is trading for yourself. Yeah.
It's such a lonely place. Yeah, it's so lonely. It's like starting an online business without a community.
Yes.
It's like sitting there and, you know, it's not fun. It's just, the money, and you can potentially make a lot of money, but then the work, you get tired of it. You don't want to do it. You don't want to look at the charts. What a boring view.
Exactly. Yeah. I remember you have 4 sets of charts up. 5 minutes.
I'm really actually kind of relieved that all that is kind of over for me, because there's a lot of energy which is only money after money energy. And it took a lot of energy from me and my online business, where I'm providing value, I'm writing blog posts, or I'm doing this or that, but then in the back of my head I have the trading, and it's interfering with the
there's
the good energy.
Conflict of interest, isn't it?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, that's so true.
Because I couldn't really integrate the trading in my daily routines properly, because I couldn't like go, okay, I'm going to be trading for 1 hour here, and then, because if the opportunity doesn't arise, you cannot trade, and then you stick around, and then your whole daily timetable is getting messed up literally every day. And then the productivity really suffered from that.
Yeah.
Do you think some of the psychology from trading does flow over into an online business? Some of that psychology of, and actually, if you go back to uncertainty again, there is some of that psychology, I think, that can flow from trading into creating an online business, because I've read a lot of stuff, like literature on the psychology of the markets, the psychology of trading. And I've always felt that you could apply some of that psychology to your online business because of the level of uncertainty, because you just never know when a sale is going to happen.
Yeah, that's that's really true. You literally never know. And
you're investing money, you're investing in a marketing budget, you're investing your time, which is incredibly valuable, but you're also investing a marketing budget, dollars. And you just never know when that sale is going to happen with an online business. So there is psychology that
and especially in the beginning, that's a big one. It's like you were using the word investing and not spending or losing, or because in the beginning it is spending. I've spent this and that much money and nothing has happened.
Yes.
But then you are slowly getting your results, and you keep going, and you're seeing that those small wins start coming. You're getting some leads, you get a customer or two, like, oh, okay, potential has arisen, and it is happening behind the scenes. Like, we have this and that many hundreds or thousands of potential customers on our lists.
Yeah.
And I really wish I could zone in on their thoughts and, see when they're reading my broadcasts or whatever, like what they're thinking, and because it's lives.
Yes, it is. And I think, Dennis, that you bring up a very valid point. Like at the conference where we met in Phoenix, Stuart was on stage, or the speaker was on stage, and they were talking about think like your customer. So it's kind of like putting yourself in their position and then writing to them. So you're actually writing to yourself in a blog post or a broadcast about what you would like to know if you were in their position. Like, it's reverse psychology. I don't know if that's the right terminology, but it's putting yourself in their position and trying to figure out what they would like to know, and to try and answer their questions.
Yeah, definitely.
That's kind of how that's what I took away from that conference.
It's literally, that's the exact way I'm thinking right now when I'm making videos and I'm writing blog posts or broadcasts. I'm writing to myself. And I sometimes I go there, wow, that really inspires me. And I'm going, okay, this is good now.
Yeah.
Now it's ready, because we are our biggest self-critics, and if we even can write something that kind of goes past that and affects ourselves, then it's good, right? And that's what we're looking for. The market is vast. We're looking for our the customer avatar, which is so much like ourselves.
Yeah, it is.
It's just like on the 90-day video journey. So many days I was just making the video that I needed to see.
Exactly.
That's true.
To inspire myself.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah,
And,
it
That
does.
is so true.
Yeah.
That is a great way of putting that, because sometimes on the 90-day journey, because for those of you watching this for the first time, a lot of us creating and developing an online business go on a path of a 90-day journey or challenge to create videos to make us much more comfortable in front of the camera. And so we've all participated in that, right? And so it's funny because it ends up a daily blog of your own day and how it's been going and how you respond to it, your challenges, and, you know, how you overcome some of those challenges throughout that journey. So it is all about you. It does become all about you. And then, therefore, who will you be attracting and who will you be appealing to? It's the person just like you. So it's fascinating, because we just talked earlier about the psychology of trading. It's more about now for you and for us, it's the psychology of marketing, right?
Yeah.
And tapping in now to what other people are thinking and how to think like a marketer. And that's our journey. I think that's our whole journey when it comes to an online business, because we're always wanting to craft that message to add value to someone else.
Yeah. And we want to be comfortable with our customers, right?
Yes.
So we don't want to have those awkward business meetings where we not really want to be, and this person is creeping me out, and we want to be able to, you know, be comfortable with our business, our customers, our business partners, and, you know, to literally, you know, hang out privately as well, to have a drink in the bar.
Yes.
And just without having business involved, just by being friends.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
huge part.
It is. It's funny because I was having paving done here around the pool, and there was two guys there, and we were chatting about customer service, and I was sharing that, you know, I've started an online business. We've developed something that's really cool and make sales online, because a lot of people don't understand, you know, what we do. And you have to go back to basics sometimes when you're explaining to people. And we were having this conversation, and we were talking about providing value to people. That's how we generate sales. Because he wasn't understanding it, and he was talking about customer service and sales, and how he was buying a car just recently, and he gave me two examples of really poor, bad customer service. And it's quite funny, especially car salesmen, you know, and we've all got these stories, haven't we? However, what online sales is now, or online business, is not all about sales. It's all about us providing value. And I think we're moving from this area of having to sell online to actually provide value to people and build a relationship with people. And then they start to trust what you're delivering to them. You start to build rapport with them, and then they start to look for your recommendation. They start to look for your advice. And we're definitely becoming and developing as leaders. Would you agree? Like we're leaders?
So much. I I remember I was following your first 90-day journey, and I never met you, and I didn't know who you were, but it was amazing to follow. And like the customer, you know, you were providing value to me, and I was really new, and it was really great to watch, and I got a lot out of it. And now I've been doing the same myself, and getting a lot of, you know, good responses. But what I wanted to come to was the car salesman example is we don't have the store anymore. We don't have one customer come to us and we can have a face-to-face conversation. We can eventually, but we don't need to be desperate with that one person, and I need to sell now. I need to sell this car, whatever it takes now, so I get a bonus, so my boss becomes happy and all these things. But on the other hand, we have the whole World Wide Web
Yes.
that is a potential customer everywhere in every country. And so there's no rush in acquiring. Actually, it's easier making customers because you're reaching so many people, and over time, by them subscribing to us, they start trusting us because they see the value, they see the honesty, the authenticity, and we just keep hammering them with good stuff and good value. So, and people want more.
They do. They do. They want to be inspired. They want someone who they can follow.
Yeah, and then they are in the store constantly.
Yes. That's right. That's right.
True. That's true. We just got to come up with the right message.
Yeah,
right?
but we don't see it really so much. We have the email here and there and the conversation here and there, but when it really starts rolling, then it's like the snowball going down the hill, right? It's
that's right.
No stopping it.
It's interesting with the journey of trading, and I keep going back to there because I think that there's a lot of traders out there that are doing what they're doing, and they're not understanding why they're not being fulfilled. And the interesting part about this journey that we're on now with an online business is the fact that along the way, along the doing of stuff, you're getting feedback from people, right? Saying that, oh, you've basically changed my life. I've had people come up to me saying, I've watched it just like you did then. I've watched your videos and your video journey and your YouTube channel. And oh my goodness, I'm waiting for another video to just come out. It's like, and it just shocks you. It really surprises you. So it's so fulfilling to know along your journey that you're helping other people. And with trading, you just don't seem to get that. You're just not getting that fulfillment along the journey. That fulfillment keeps you going in the tough times when you're learning and when you're doing the stuff and you feel like there's nothing coming back or there's no reward coming back. That keeps you going, doesn't it? It just keeps you going.
Definitely.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome. So
That's
Dennis, I just want to ask you too, you're creating a successful affiliate marketing business, and there are aspects of your skills that can be pretty much outsourced. And I know that you do certain things like building websites or potentially building certain compliant websites. What are some of the things that you do as an outsourced, like for other people?
So I know how to create Google compliant websites.
Awesome.
So I can, that's a big thing that people struggle with in the beginning, because it's, Google is like this huge beast and people start, because I started with YouTube, I was never on LinkedIn or the easier platforms to advertise on, because I wanted to do video, and I wanted to be comfortable in video, and so my coaches just said, all right, forget everything else, YouTube, head on, you're going to do this. And I think I've invested a lot more money in the beginning while I was building the skill, and my leads were very expensive, but now my leads are extremely cheap. Like below that, in the beginning we're like, they talk about $5 a lead, and that felt just like, that's impossible. And now I'm consistently below that.
That's incredible.
I'm like around $3 to $4 on YouTube.
That's a skill that you can really share to other people.
So I can make these websites. I just need like some photos and a little bit of story from somebody, and I can make this website in literally like 1 day or 2 days, and depending on how many I will be making at any one time, and also script writing and yeah, making video. I'm building a it's not up yet, but it's a new YouTube channel that I'm launching. So I'm going to be I'm going to have 2 YouTube channels.
Okay.
One only for the business side of online business tutorials, tips and tricks, and all this kind of like this interview kind of things, inspirational stuff. And but then I am also building now one called Big Problem, Big Solution.
Nice. I like that.
And it's
I love it.
yeah, that's a really
Good.
a very big child, a baby of mine, because it's very extremely personal. And I don't know if I've told you before, but I did go through a lot of like 10 years of quite heavy depression, and also some addiction, which were like, you know, one was affecting the other and all that stuff. And these days, like literally everyone has it almost.
Yeah.
And I know exactly what got me there, and I know exactly what got me out of there. And I want to share this and help others with this. And I've written a few scripts for my first videos, and yeah, it's and it's going to go into a lot of reasons. You know, why are we getting depressed? Why weren't we as depressed 50 years ago? And all of a sudden now we are. The you know, the politics and the food and the chemicals and a lot of stuff. So this is really exciting, and it's very how do you say, very challenging or daunting to put, because it's extremely personal.
Yeah, that's right,
Yeah.
Dennis. It's
But I know that
personal.
so many people have themselves or know somebody close to them that has struggled with this. So I hope I can really help somebody. That's all, really.
I'm sure you will help some a whole number of people, Dennis, with that, because that is so inspiring to actually put yourself into the spotlight and kind of shine it on yourself to help other people. That's just so inspiring, and it's things that people need to see, and they will want to know, well, how did you do that? Like, how did you get from where you were to where you are now? Because that in itself is an inspirational journey.
Yeah.
It's hugely inspirational.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy, but if there's, it's one word is taking responsibility, because you getting yourself into that bad of a downward spiral takes a lot of work, a lot of repeating the same negative thought patterns over and over and over again, so that you're actually living that and you have become that. And to take yourself out of that, you need to turn the spiral around and keep repeating all the good stuff until you become that and get inspired and are that again. And so it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but it's worth it.
I was listening to something this morning, which is interesting, and it's all in relation to that and a journey that anyone needs to take when it comes to changing ourselves. And it comes down to, I've got to remember this now, trigger, routine, and reward. And because you said about it takes a lot of energy to get to where you are in that space, and you've got to pull yourself out of that. And people need tactical ways of being able to do that, because you are in your head a lot when that time happens. And its trigger is all about just that awareness of when that's going to happen, like becoming aware, just knowing that you have a problem and just knowing that how does it get triggered? How do these thoughts get triggered? Does something happen, something environmentally around me that happens that triggers those thoughts? Awareness is huge. That's the biggest part of the journey. Routine is all about, that's what you've got to actually pull yourself out of and start changing that routine, and then rewarding yourself for changing those habits, changing the routine. The routine is crucial. And it's funny because I've just got this book here called The Miracle Morning. And it is all about that changing, pulling yourself out of that old routine and putting yourself into a new routine.
Yeah.
And the 90-day journey is all about that. It's changed me from a night person to a morning person. Like I was up even this morning, like 5:15 a.m., like out walking, showered, ready, sitting in front of the computer here, 7 a.m. And it's, and then the rewards will happen as a result of that changed routine. Yeah. It's a real tactical approach, isn't it? To sort of like this big problem, big solution.
That's a huge part of it too. The morning is you setting yourself up for the rest of the day. And I haven't read The Miracle Morning and I haven't done any research on it, but it's that's where it's at. I get up at 6, at 5, straight away. I do the things that I need to do to, the meditation, the yoga, whatever, or the walk, and then, cold shower, or before anything, then I'm already, okay, now I'm success already.
Yeah, that's
or I'm set up, the energy is great, and whatever comes now, I will be able to handle in the best way.
Yes.
Yeah.
And even if I fail at something, I will still fail in a good way.
That's right. Well, even if we
don't forward, isn't it? That's what they say.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, exactly.
That's good. That's good. Chris, did you want to? Sorry, I interrupted.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, I think it's all about just having that routine and being in that space when you first wake up, because that sets yourself, you're right, it sets yourself up for the whole day, the week. It's just going and understanding that that's what you need to do. I remember when I was in my job and I used to hit the snooze button, I don't know how many times, right? And I don't hit this, I might hit it every now and again, every couple of days I might hit the snooze button once or twice, but it's not like 10 times in a row, when you don't want to get out of bed, because you know what your day's going to be about. This way you're kind of thinking, okay, well, what is today going to be about? Great, I can't wait to get started, right? You're setting yourself up straight away.
Yeah. And that's the way to bounce out of bed and be excited, because that routine always makes you feel great.
Exactly.
And ready. And that's where success comes from in the online business or anything. You just repeat that again and again and again, because it doesn't come overnight, and success cannot be, is it circumvented?
Yes.
That's the word? Yeah.
Very good. Multilingual, Dennis. You just incredibly different languages, including English.
Yeah, I had to.
You do extremely well. It's awesome.
Thank
How
you.
many languages
Thank you very
exactly? I have to ask again.
No, including English, I speak 4 languages fluently, and then a little bit of Portuguese as well. If I get lost, I will be able to get myself back, so to speak.
Wow,
that's amazing. That's just
there's not many people that have, can speak 4 languages. Right, there's not. There's just not. Here in Australia, you might speak 2 languages.
Yeah.
Maximum. Mostly you speak 1. The majority of population here would only speak 1 language.
One language here. We're very isolated, and you'll learn it through school, but not thoroughly. But in Europe, that's the advantage of having Europe at your doorstep and having all of the countries and the different languages and cultures. We are a little bit
it's like in having a United States, and in every state they speak a different language.
Yes.
So you just hop around and you can learn it. Of course, we see the English language in our TVs, and we have subtitles. In some countries, they still dub it.
Okay.
It's extremely weird to watch because they do this in Germany still, and it's so weird to watch TV there. But their level of language or English is not as good as well as Sweden, Norway, and a lot of other countries who have the subtitles. As kids, we were sitting and watching and reading, so we were.
Wow.
By the time I started English in school in Germany, I could already have an English conversation.
Yes.
Wow.
While all the other kids were like zero. It was still nothing. It's like learning French for you or for me, or so.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know why I keep doing this.
So, where do you? Because you're now providing skills. So, what we're going to do is my connection still there?
Still there.
Break because it just came up. Connection lost. So you're providing skills for people that require it. We have members that come through that struggle sometimes with a Google compliant website.
Okay.
And so we absolutely know who to send those people to, because, for a fee, you can actually get them set up. They're going to be saving so much time, right? Much time by getting somebody else that's just already been through it, because once it's set up and ready to go, it's ready to go, and you can advertise on all those platforms. And more importantly, you can advertise on YouTube, which is, and it feels for new members such a big hurdle, such a big thing to get done. And so that's amazing to have somebody to be able to set that up for.
And once that's set up, there will always, Google will update its laws and stuff, and there will need to be changes need to be done, but only small stuff, and you will be notified, and you can do it all by yourself. It's no problem. And these big changes don't really happen so often. I think most of the big things have been already moved out of the way. The way advertising was going on back in the days, apparently it was very, very bad, so to speak. You could just tell people whatever you wanted, and
coaching
it's a lot more regulated.
Coaching on YouTube as well is something else, because it sounds like you know how to set yourself up with campaigns. You're knowing how to put those together. Again, coaching, possibly for YouTube and for campaigns, getting people, giving them help as far as campaigns go.
Yeah, I would say that I could confidently say that I could help people write a script, improve their scripts, get them launched on YouTube, find a target, and properly name the ads and the ad groups and all these things, and set them up with the tracking.
That's
into
awesome.
Into the email software, into Aweber, so they can see exactly who comes from which ad and so forth.
Wow, that's great. That's awesome, Dennis. That's something that it's quite a steep learning curve. So for you to understand and know all of these things, like, people, they're just words to people. They don't, when they first starting out, it's like learning another language, right?
Yeah,
it is. It's like learning another language, and you have these skills, and you can show people and guide them what they need to do. I mean, that's incredible.
And that's how it was, exactly how it was for me. When I first came in and started, and there was the online business. It's like a dictionary, and there was leads, tracking, and all these words, and I was like, what the hell is this? And I have no idea, and now I have a pretty good idea. So it just takes time and faith, and as long as you don't quit, you cannot fail.
The other thing that really excites me too is the fact that you do speak all those languages. We have members, and we know of one in particular that struggles with the English conversion. That's from Europe, and just struggles sometimes with that conversion. So you could provide that bridge for people in Europe, because it is a big thing. English is a second language. It can be a hurdle or a mental obstacle for them. You can be that bridge from where they are now to where they need to be up and running, and to give them confidence. So that coaching in itself is incredibly valuable.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make sure that we put it out there. So in this conversation, in this interview process, that people are aware of what you do. And what we'll do is put your website in the link here in YouTube.
Oh, thank you very much.
Anyone that's sort of struggling with that process, with English as a second language, and then, wanting to actually have that web presence, that marketing presence online, just knowing how to do that, just with somebody that's done it and been there and has that fluent language, I think really, really is incredible. It's an incredible bridge.
Yeah.
So,
let me just, because there, people don't really care your level of language, what it is. They care about the message you give them, and in fact, they might think your accent is quite exotic and nice, if they are English or whatever. And if they are from a non-speaking language, they might find, oh wow, this person, I can hear they're not, English speaking, but they're still doing it. And so, and you can, there's examples as Magnus, Engdahl, there is Christian, and Ström and Beer.
Yeah.
Yes.
And from what I've heard, I don't know, but apparently their English was terrible when they first started out.
Yeah.
And now they are, they're top notch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
exactly. So I think that it's a real asset. It is a real asset, because you're right. It shouldn't be a hurdle. However, people do make it a hurdle, or they make it an obstacle. And I think just having even just those words of advice you just spoke there, you're right. It's the message ultimately that matters. And half the time it's not even the words you speak. Like that is like 10% of it. It's like the energy you bring, the passion that you bring, the enthusiasm, the body language, the tonality, just, there is so much more that makes up a marketing message. And language is a very small part of it.
Yeah, apparently it's only like 5 or 10% of what the message is the actual words.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, then there's the body language, the intonation, your clothes, everything.
Yeah,
so
everything that makes up that message. So it's getting out of the head, isn't it, really, and just going out there and starting to do it. And just one last question, Dennis. Where do you see yourself and your business in, say, 5 years' time?
Wow, that's it's an awesome question. And I see myself... I can see a very nice picture of myself doing this, not only online business, but not only affiliate, but like proper having my own company, or joining a bigger company and being part of a team or coaching team, and teaching everything top to bottom about marketing and life coaching, really, because a mindset is everything to me. I've done so much work on myself, and I know it's possible, although I once thought is not possible, and I did it anyway, and I came out on the other side, and I was like a child again. So I want to do that. I want to really help people from the bottom up, and I can see that happening. And and I can do it from anywhere in the world. That's
Totally.
and I will have, within 5 years, I am quite confident that I will have moved myself, my children, and their mom to a sunnier country, and quite possibly down under or New Zealand.
Wow, that would be
Wow.
come on down.
Yeah.
Come on down. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, I lived there for 3 years, and that's where I met the mom of my kids. And we still have common dreams.
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe, in fact, I have still a dream that this online business, this freedom of movement, and it will bring us back together.
Oh, so, that's beautiful. Okay, that's wonderful.
Yeah. So who knows? Maybe, maybe not. And I can only do as much as I can do. So
yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful
clothes. Beautiful dream. Yeah,
beautiful. That's beautiful. Well, it's been a pleasure. I just want to say, on behalf of Chris and I, thank you for taking the time to talk to us, and we've learned so much about you in this 1 hour. I think more than we've learned from you over our whole journey. And it's always a wonderful thing to learn more about others. And you provide so much value. You always have done. You give incredible support to us and the community. And I just want to let people know out there that you are there to be able to reach out to, and if it's coaching you need, if it's Google compliant websites that you need, Dennis is there because you've been through it and you know what needs to be done. So just thank you so much. And Chris, I'll hand it over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Dennis. It's been an absolute pleasure to get to know you more. And, it's just so, I don't know, you touch my heart, like being able to have these types of conversations is just so fulfilling. It's fulfilling for us. So I can only imagine how open other people are to see what's possible for them, right? I think that's, probably one of the most important things is to see where other people were at, because when other people look at you, you might think, oh, well, he's always been this way, it's always, he's always been this way. But in fact, it hasn't been that way. We all have really things that have really brought us down in the past, and it's how we travel from that to now is what's inspiring. And you've just inspired with this story so many people, and I just want to thank you.
Yeah, and let me just express my deepest gratitude to you guys for inviting me to speak to you and letting me share a little bit of my story with you guys. And yeah, it's hard to put in words, really. I have a really nice feeling of a bit of butterflies in my stomach. And it's really great to know you and your guys' story and how you have grown into the leaders you are now. Because when we came in and when we started, we were just as confused as most. I was like a desperate, I didn't know what to do. I was just looking for a way to change my life. And so it is.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. So I just want to say, firstly, you look like a rock star. And secondly, you are a rock star, right?
Without the drugs,
Exactly, but you are a rock star, all right?
Yeah.
You are a rock star.
Thank you so much.
And in this business. So thank you so much. And
thank you, guys.
We'll catch up very, very soon, no doubt, Dennis.
Yes. Hugs and kisses.
Yep.